As for Governor Fubara, suddenly appearing, well, the order by the president did not say he should disappear from the surface of the earth. So he went to Salvation Ministries. All these people, when they fail, they go to God. But people should stop blaming God in this country. The problem is with Nigerians. It's with our leaders. The problem is not with God. I don't know what Pastor what he's going to do. Fubara should just not think that God is a problem. God is not a problem.
It's like Ijaw people don't know how to manage power. And Fubara now have come to prove it again, because you wanted to fight God for that reason. You should be able to put this in order. Fight if you want to fight. Don't be all these things we are doing. Did you think that the federal government and Wike will come for you? What was your preparation before? Now you are going to church. What will church do for you? The last time we heard that Adebo visited him, pray for him. It's not about prayer. God is not interested in this thing. This is man-to-man battle, my brother. As you're also calling God, Wike and Tinubu too, they are calling their God. Guy, come on, let's fight one-on-one. You should know that if I win this battle, I win. If I lose, I lose. Look at the 4 lepers in the Bible. They got to understand there was hunger in the land. They were very hungry. They came to, the lepers, they don't, in the olden days, they don't allow lepers to go close to people.
Yes.
And no food. Nobody is giving them food. It's like what we're facing in Nigeria now, where people cannot eat. The little one you have, will you go and give it to a beggar? You manage it with your family. And those 4 lepers, they came to themselves and they say, you know what? If we go out, they kill us. We will die. If we stay here, hunger will kill us. Those 4 lepers, they moved from their comfort zone. They moved out to the city. And God backed them up. When they were going, the Lord packed a chariot of noise. The city, they flew away. They thought that maybe the war are coming. That is how they pack food, they eat food, and they eat enough. What am I saying in essence? There are certain things that you need to take a move. Don't wait for God. God cannot do everything for you. God has already created everything for us. It's for we to do. That's why the Bible says, right from the time of John the Baptist, the kingdom of God suffer violence, men of violence take it by force. So if Fubara is not ready to take it by force, you are going to try to go and pray, you are wasting your time. I have told you right now, information available to me now that Fubara, EFCC is about to pick Fubara. And once EFCC pick Fubara right now, the game is over. I can tell you that this game was orchestrated by Wike and Tinubu, because they knew by impeaching Fubara will cause a lot of chaos in Rivers State. And they decided, you know what, this is how we are going to do it. They orchestrated this disaster you are seeing pipeline, but these are politicians, they did it. These people they are the one that did it. It is not Wike, it is not Fubara. Fubara is the one that is holding the destiny of Rivers State. Fubara is just like a person who is carrying red oil. You will know how to walk than somebody who is carrying a stone or who is carrying fufu. That fufu for and you can still pick your fufu. That is who Wike and Tinubu is. And look at what they have done to him right now. So if I wear the shoe of Fubara, I will not take it lightly, my brother. If I perish on this battle, I perish. If I succeed, I succeed. For me, Fubara is a weakling to me, because as it is now, look at it. Yes, as it is now, the whole world now, you can see everybody is chastising Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Wike, because the former president Goodluck Jonathan, because of this single act, he has put us where we are. The blood of Nigeria does not want any of my ambition. Jonathan will have fought in that 2015. Buhari will have not been a president, and today we will not have a disaster. Somebody like Tinubu, look at how he have turned our country to. They are no longer respecting our institution. We see in international world now nobody respecting Nigerians. Look at what Jonathan was saying. Jonathan said it is not because of the yahoos that are making the internationals not to respect Nigeria, because of this single act Akpabio, Tinubu, and Wike is doing. We have 3 principalities in Nigeria as it stands today. We have principality, which is a Tinubu, which is in the side of the executive. We have another principality, Akpabio, who control legislature. We heard that this thing they did by voting in National Assembly, that they were shared by $10,000. That was the information. That was what is outside, going out in circulation. But Akpabio knows whether it's true, because many senators now are debunking it, that they are not part of people who collect that $10,000. Just to make sure that they size Tinubu. So Wike now is another principality of the judiciary. Whoever Tinubu stand in a size now become win. That's why I told you, take your problem to Wike and leave it there. When it is matter of judiciary, whether you are on the loser side or not, as far as you are Wike, you will win. Look at what just happened in Kano. We have 2 battles. The Emir Sanusi and the other Bayero, something like that. Sanusi has already won this game, but the moment the other guy visited Wike overnight, Supreme Court give judgment in the favor of the other guy. As I speak to you now, Sanusi now has lost. So what does that tell you? Whoever Wike support in Nigeria now, in terms of judiciary, forget about it. I believe that could be the reason why Tinubu is doing all possible means not to lose a Wike. But as it is now, it's going to be so dangerous for Bola Ahmed Tinubu, because the people who make him a president is the North, and the North now, they are kicking against him.
Okay, so are you saying that the spiritual does no longer control the physical? Because I think this is why Fubara thinks if he maybe commits his problem into God's hands, maybe God will enter the minds of Wike and Tinubu. Maybe they will have a change of heart. Are you saying it's going the wrong way? And also, you also said the Ijos can never be trusted. Are you saying the Ijos, like the line of Asarido, Kuba and Co, are never to be trusted with power?
Yeah, yes, of course. As I told you now, many Nigerians will not want to waste their time for Ijaw people again. They feel that Ijaw people are weak. They are weak. You cannot tell me that Jonathan did the same thing. Fubara is also doing the same thing. And you people have power. When you talk about from Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa, Ijos are the next largest ethnic group in Nigeria. As I speak to you, there are many Ijaw in the southwest here. Yeah. Ondo, when you go to Ondo State, you see Ijaw. Yeah. Edo State, when you go to Adenegbe, you see Ijaw. Every region in Nigeria, Ijaw people are there. What are they afraid of? How can one man just wake up overnight and use military to remove Fubara? How? Is it possible? Will Tinubu now allow the military to overthrow him? The answer is no. If Tinubu will not allow, what make Fubara to fold his hand? To that, I speak to you, the Obedient movement, they are regretting that they never fight, because Obi told them that if you leave it, they will leave the matter for court. What happened? That's why somebody like me, I cannot fold my hand and vote for Peter Obi again. I am in the side of Kenneth Okonkwo. Obi is just too weak. Obi does not fit Nigeria politics. If you want to be a pastor, be a pastor. If you want to be a politician, be a politician. That's what I'm telling you, that Fubara going to church is a waste of time. Is it not the same Bible that said this? Since the time of John the Baptist, the kingdom of God suffer violence, the men of violence take it by force. Is it going to church to go and take the violence? Is it not the God is calling the wicked people? Do you know how many pastors too that are praying for wicked? Do you know how many pastors that is praying for Tinubu today? Is it not the same God we are calling? God has given the power to us. Do whatever you like as a politician. Going to church was a wrong move.
So there's been more criticisms over the weekend as regards the state of emergency. I think one of the strongest one came from former President Goodluck Jonathan, who had to stand like a patriot. And he did put a caveat there that normally, as a former president, it's not conventional for him to speak about an incumbent president. Because, yes, it's a public convention, but it's not that it doesn't happen. In other parts of the world, we've had former presidents speak, even campaign against an incumbent. If you go back to America, for instance, Barack Obama did campaign against Trump when he was an incumbent. He was a former president. So, but in this case, it was different. And his critique was not only for the presidency, the executive. Sorry about that, Dr. Bassett. It was also for the judiciary and the legislature. Yep. And I think it's time for us to be able to go back and introspect. That why did President Goodluck Jonathan say the things he did say? Because it's a time for critical national introspection, which we're not doing at this point in time. The consensus, even if there are opposition voices, the consensus has been in the suspension of the governor was not good, was not legal. The consensus has been that the National Assembly did not do a good job at a critical national time like that, going ahead with just a void vote to be able to ratify what the government has done. A lot of people feel it was a case of double jeopardy. The government talking point is different. So what's the government talking point? We had to do this. They would even quote the section about imminent danger. Hence, I keep asking the question, what was the imminent danger in Rivers State that warranted the state of emergency? They would say, oh, the Supreme Court, again, this is another government talking point. They would say, the Supreme Court said there was no government. But you see, the people that also talk about the government point, saying the Supreme Court judgment say there was no government in Rivers State, they fail to realize that what the Supreme Court enunciated that should be done, Governor Fubara has started to do them. And it was the House of Assembly that did not allow him to complete them. They will never talk about that in their own point of view. They will never also refer to things like the IJAP report that also berated the Supreme Court judgment. In fact, they'll tell you it's not justiciable. Then the critique by Professor Wole Soyinka, which was also something that a lot of people looked at. But I think I had analyzed that speech again. So it was not an all-out attack on President Tinubu. It was just a conversation around the principles, what should be done. And he went further to say the things we have constantly said, that the Constitution reposes so much power in the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And that's the conversation about a national conference, to be able to whittle down these powers. Why do we say the devolution of powers? To be able to whittle down some of these powers. Then the other portion is the story that at least we have seen the proof of life now, because that was the bone of contention. Where is Fubara all this while? We have finally seen that he's out there. He went to church, Salvation Ministries. Then the rebuke of the former Senate President, Adolphus Wabara, who is also a BOT chair. Some will say, it's because he's the BOT chair, that's why he's saying all of this. But he said it's an assault on democracy. And many parts that have argued in favor have said it's an assault on democracy. In fact, President Tinubu too had argued that state of emergency is argued along the lines of the fact that state of emergency was an assault to democracy when he was in opposition. But some people in his camp will argue for today and say, it's not the case. He had to do what he had to do. But there are some substantive questions we need to ask. Is it that every time now, when there's any skirmish between people that are pulling the puppet strings of a state, is it that the state of emergency is going to emerge? People have also cited the case of Lagos, where we had the imbroglio in the House as regards the Speaker. Is it that the state of emergency should have survived? Yeah. What a lot of those opposing constitution are arguing in favor of is the fact that we must not make it a very frivolous thing where we just start dishing out state of emergency. And the last argument that it even contravenes the ethos of federalism and, devolution of powers. Yeah. Because if a governor can pull out, if a president can pull out a governor, then where's the independence of this state?
Absolutely. All right, thanks. Dr. Abati, your take on this story.
Okay, let me see how much time is left to talk about this. Now, the president made a declaration of emergency in Rivers State on Tuesday. The Senate, the House of Reps, the National Assembly endorsed it on Thursday. And since then, there have been reactions. Now, if you look at the number of persons who have decried this declaration of emergency, they include Professor Wole Soyinka, as we have been told, who says this is an assault on federalism and the separation of powers. President Goodluck Jonathan, who says, look, people are abusing their powers. Investors will not come to a country where, people just constitute themselves unilaterally into a lawmaking body, among other things that he said. Now, the PDP, Senator Adolphus Wabara, PDP BOT chairman, and also the PDP Conference of Professionals, CP-PDP, they've also condemned what has happened. The NBA, led by Alpha Musigwe SAN, has also said that the powers offered the president under Section 305 are not absolute, and that what he has done is unconstitutional. Set up the Society for Economic Rights and Accountability Project. They say they have gone to court because what the president has done is unlawful. Intelligent people, in other constituencies, have also said, look, this is not the right way to go about it. Section 305, they give the president the powers to declare a state of emergency, but that the way he has done it is illegal, unlawful, unconstitutional, and to that extent, null and void. That's what, those who want to go to court are trying to establish. Now, Ibokete Ibas rejected our advice and he quickly embraced it as a life-saving, as it were, it may be, allegedly, for him. So he is from Cross River State. Yesterday I said he was from Akwa Ibom. Somebody corrected me that he's from Yaku local government area of Cross River State. So he has gone to Rivers of Cross River. He has gone to Rivers now. The same government, because the judiciary is part of the government, that said, an unconstitutional and undemocratic government cannot receive allocation, has now given him allocation. We want to know the amount that has been given to him. We want to know how he's going to disburse it. We want to know the reign of impunity that is now operational in Rivers State. And that's why I stand by my argument that, look, the appropriation bill is an act of parliament. It can only be approved by the legislature. Now he has been given the prerogative to exercise authority over, appropriation, over budget. The same budget that a validly elected person under section, under the Constitution, and local government chairmen that are not in place under section 7(1) are not in place, has now been given authority. The Constitution, as the NBA through Alpha Musigwe SAN Azagi, does not give powers to a sole administrator to run any part of Nigeria. And I stand by my point that what the president has done is to usurp the powers of the legislature and the executive. Any illiterate out there who is arguing with me is arguing in vain, because I will continue to insist on that point. Now, again, the Senate, Aminu Tambuwal, senator, said that when he, as a member of that Senate, looked at it, those people did not have a quorum, that there were not enough 73 legislators in the House. And he's standing on his point. So you have a National Assembly also that cannot act, that cannot call the president to order, that cannot accuse the president of gross misconduct on the basis of the same constitution in which he swore on oath. Another point, you had Ibokete Ibas swearing on oath on the constitution. On what authority? Nobody elected him. What you have in Rivers State today is an illegal situation. It's an unlawful situation. It's an unconstitutional situation. Now, Serap says they will go to court. As I've argued repeatedly on this same program, the issues that will come with Serap will be, do you have locals? I don't know which court they have gone to. Does the court have jurisdiction? Now, what is happening to the governor himself, Simi Fubara? He can go to court because he's the one who can say, well, I've been damaged in this matter. The governors of Bayelsa and other governors can go to court that this is an assault on the constitutional sovereign rights of states. They can go all the way to the Supreme Court. But all of them are cowards. None of them is going to stand up. They will just make empty statements. They will not go. Let us test the Constitution. Serap is now saying we will test the Constitution. Some other groups are saying let us test the Constitution. Let us test the Constitution. Because people have been saying, hey, Obasanjo did it, this person did it. Let us test that section 305 of the Nigerian Constitution. That is my argument too. But on top of it all, they say there is another explosion in Suku axis. Okay? And, well, we have not had further details about what led to that explosion. But what we know, and on the basis of which I've said there was imminent threat, the president can save the country. He can exercise his rights under the shall provision of section 305, subsection 1. But he has no rights to sabotage, dismantle both the executive and the legislature in Rivers State. That is my argument. And imbeciles and illiterates, can argue otherwise. But this is the way I see it. And this constitution, this same constitution, provides for freedom of expression. Let them go about saying, he did not suspend, he did not remove, he suspended. I think that the major argument that has been made by all the contributors to this argument from Peter Obi to Atiku Abubakar to BOT chairman of the PDP to CP, concerned professionals in PDP, is that the president should reconsider his position. He can suspend the governor, but if that is what he wants to do, but we are saying that it is wrong. The suspension is wrong. And we have a precedent in what President Jonathan did. So we are waiting. We are waiting for them. As for Governor Fubara, suddenly appearing, well, the order by the president did not say he should disappear from the surface of the earth. So he went to Salvation Ministries. All these people, when they fail, they go to God. But people should stop blaming God in this country. The problem is with Nigerians. It's with our leaders. The problem is not with God. I don't know what Pastor what he's going to do. Fubara should just not think that God is a problem. God is not a problem.
I think Fubara is exploring all his...
Let us pray.
No. Fubara is exploring all his options. He's seeking spiritual, counsel and prayers, because he needs prayers at this time, and hopefully he would also seek judicial review as well.
Leave God out of this matter. The problem is with Nigerians
the
and their leaders.
That the spiritual controls the physical, which I agree. So he has gone to sort out spiritually, then he'll come and face it before he has the powers to face the judiciary. To be honest, I'm not very enthusiastic or optimistic about the fact that Governor Fubara is going to approach any courts. The South-South Governors Forum had released a statement last week condemning the actions and saying that they didn't support the president's suspension of the governor of Rivers State. But like you said, that's probably where it's going to end. I asked the question last week as to where is the Governors Forum? There are a number of people, these are stakeholders, because if it happened in River State, there's nothing stopping it from happening in another state. And in fact, there are talks here and there about Osun State might be next CTC. Whether there are rumors or not, this is what happens when such a declaration has been made. It means that this precedent has been set, and if it's allowed to stand, then there's no stopping the president if he perceives that there's imminent threat to lives, property, or security, national security in a state to take over, whether or not the state is his, belongs to the APC, or it's perceived as being state capture. So what former President Goodluck Jonathan had said, I believe that very, very critical at this time. In fact, like you said, he had to respond, he had to say something because of how sensitive and important the nature of this particular subject is. He said usually he's one, and he has demonstrated that. He hardly said anything during President Buhari's administration, and even President Tinubu, he's just been a statesman and just been, going to other countries as well to act as an observer during elections. But this time he had to speak because at this moment, we're going to judge our leaders by whether or not they kept quiet during a time like this. And that's why I'm also glad that a former Senate president, irrespective of the party he belongs to, has also come out to speak about the illegality or unconstitutionality of this. Mr. Temitope Ajayi, spokesperson, one of the advisors to the president, had come out to say something. He said the Supreme Court ruled that there is no functioning government in Rivers State known to the Constitution of Nigeria. And I want to pose a question to him this morning. The current system of government in Rivers State today, with a sole administrator appointed, is it known to the Constitution of Nigeria? Would it be ruled to be said, or would it be judged to be said as where is the provision for that? Because we keep talking about how President Fubara was acting alone. He didn't act with a full, State House of Assembly, which we condemned at the time. We did speak against and ask questions and debated as to whether or not it was constitutional for him to present a budget to a three-man house. But one unconstitutionality does not defend another unconstitutionality. And the fact that one wrong was done, another wrong should not be instituted to correct that wrong. What we should be looking for is how to stabilize and restore democracy to this nation. Unfortunately, where President Tinubu would have had a legacy of doing that during his tenure, he missed that opportunity. And this just might be a stain on his administration in terms of how he handled the respect for the rule of law, especially his honor and respect for the Constitution. I recall during the day that he swore the oath on his swearing-in ceremony, and he swore to uphold the Constitution of Nigeria. Unfortunately, now this isn't the case in many instances, and it's quite sad to see. In terms of the separation of powers, what then is the justification for asking governors to not assert their authority or make illegal decisions with regards to local governments. And this is what we've been arguing. We didn't even know that we're going to get to a point where we'll be interfacing between the federal and the state arm of government. And it's quite sad to see. I think reason would mean that let the president listen to this wealth of advice coming from established statesmen, people who are ruled in their own rights at different levels, different arms of government. It's not just mere talk, it's not just table talk. These are experienced people who have come out to speak against, even Professor Wole Soyinka, who has been known to speak for the president at different times. I think wisdom would say that he should consider some of these contributions to the discourse and, where possible, retrace his steps so as to preserve the legacy of his administration and the legacy of democracy in Nigeria.